Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday evening to you. I hope you had a nice weekend. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. We've got to look at the forecast. Bearer of bad news is my title tonight because we have snow coming our way. Is it a big deal or not? I'm seeing this stuff, and you probably are too, just being blown up on social media. Just a lot of hype headlines. That's what I'm seeing. And this is from a lot of actual people on Facebook and on Twitter as well, or whatever it's called now. So I don't know if you're getting that information and saying, well, this is going to be a big deal on Tuesday for Halloween, or if maybe you've seen some other sources that are saying this isn't going to be a big deal. Either way, we are going to have our first flakes of the season. So we'll talk about that. I'll let you know if it's going to be a big deal or not. We'll go through the modeling and talk about how this whole thing is going to kind of transpire here. We'll go beyond that. We're going to talk 10 to 15 days out beyond that to see if there's any more snow in the forecast or if we get back to the warmer temperatures. We've got it all for you in the Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. Show, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know it was just kind of sour weather-wise. We had some breaks, obviously. Everything kind of went as expected forecast-wise, which was good. I was kind of happy to see the breaks arrive when we were talking about them. But, man, I miss the warm weather already. I don't know what it is. And we're not going to get it back anytime soon as it looks right now. So that's that. But we'll talk more about that. First, want to say good evening to Jeff. He is our early bird here tonight. Jeff, good evening to you. Angel, good evening to you. Happy Sunday evening to you. Linda, good evening. Susan, good evening. Tom asks, when can I stop mowing my lawn? Tom, never. Keep mowing, buddy. Mow it on Tuesday. See what happens. We're not going to have a lot of accumulation now, so I'm just going to say that. Carl's with us. Good evening, Carl. Severe Storm Filmer is on with us on our YouTube channel. Hello to you. Danielle. Mark, what's up, buddy? Diane's with us. Mark, greetings. Oh, yeah, Mark's on his trip right now. Mark, hello. Hope you're settled in okay. Hopefully the weather forecast, I know we gave you a specific forecast for that. I hope that's okay and accurate as always, right? Gail's with us this evening. Aaron, it's funny. Don, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Don says I look a little bit more rested. We are settled in. For those of you that don't know, we had our fourth child last Saturday morning, and we were just so out of sleep. For every basically newscast that we tried to do here, or broadcast, whatever you call it. And I was really tired in the last one, but we have settled in nicely. Baby Silas is sleeping a good 3-hour chunk and then a 4-hour chunk, which is great after a week of life, and we're veterans by now, at least we think we are, but every kid's different. But this week's been a lot better. And my wife and I have worked out kind of a schedule as well. So everything's great. So anyway, not that you asked for that, but Don, absolutely. And Remo's with us. Aaron, thank you for the congratulations on that. Kristen, the rain's almost done. We'll jump in here. Again, I get so talky and chatty at the beginning here. I've been talking to children all day, so it's nice to have some adults on here. Debbie's asking if there'll be frost on the pumpkin this Halloween. More than frost, Debbie, as it looks right now. Hi, Joey. Jamie, yes. Emma's with us. Can't wait for the snow. Hannah's with us from Demont. Thank you for the congrats. Angel, Tom, thank you for the congrats. Debbie, you too. Char's with us. Absolutely. Andrea, thank you. Okay, let's dive in, shall we? I want to thank our sponsors first and foremost. Guys, if you have a choice of any of these, realms of business that these folks do, if you have a choice between plumbers, please go with Tiger Plumbing. And it's not just for me. I'm telling you, and some of you can attest to this, but Tiger Plumbing, they're the best plumbers in Northwest Indiana. They're local, they're family owned. And that's what I love about all of our businesses, that they're all family owned, all right? And they're all from the region. Keep the money in the region, support these family owned businesses. TigerPlumbing.net, they're still doing $30 off for a few more days of any public or any plumbing call that you have. So just let them know Region Weather sent you $30 off, and they come out for free. We just had our pipes snaked because we live in a century home and it's really old. That's why our internet's awful too, I would imagine. But anyway, don't wait on that stuff, because they said we waited a little bit too long and the pipes were just a mess. Long story, but anyway, tigerplumbing.net, place to go. PSA, that's our public service adjusters. If you're not familiar with them, what they do, I wasn't familiar with this at all before they reached out and we worked out a partnership. They're amazing. If you have an insurance claim on your property, normally what you do is you call the insurance company and you'd go with them and they, get back to you with their adjuster and they give you a low ball amount, but they'd still fix the problem, right? What PSA does is they're the in-between. So you go to them right away and they'll act on behalf of you for everything. They'll take care of the whole process. You don't even need to make a phone call. They'll get you more money than you'd get normally. And they don't charge anything until you get the money, which you're already winning more. And then, you give more. It's unbelievable how it works. 5-star reviews across the board. Publicserviceadjusting.com. St. Jude House, our nonprofit. Please support them. And if anyone needs support around the area of domestic violence, St. Jude House does wonderful work in Northwest Indiana. They have a mobile advocacy program where they go out, they meet survivors or victims where they need to be met, and they do great work around that. So please, stjudehouse.org is a place to go. Finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and Valley many years, family-owned business as well. New Jeeps are on the lot, ready to go. 4-wheel drive, almost all of them. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. So thank you very much for letting me get through that. We appreciate them. Weather-wise, guys, here's what we're dealing with right now. I always like to start big picture so we can kind of get into what the pattern looks like. And here's our little train tracks, as I've been saying, kind of where the tracks have been laid between warm and cool. That's where we call the train tracks, or the path of the storm systems. It's still over Northwest Indiana. That's why we've had various waves of rain. We do have some rain out there right now. This will start to taper overnight tonight and tomorrow. We finally get out of the tracks. Problem is, on the other side of the tracks, right? You never, as a kid, wanted to go on the other side of the tracks. Well, we don't really want to otherwise either, because there's cold air on the backside. And we are going to turn cooler tonight into tomorrow morning. That's really where you're going to notice the cold. So right now we're mid-40s around the region. We've got the showers around. Tomorrow morning, waking up will be mid-30s. There is a freeze warning out towards the west. We are not included in that. And the reason why is because we have the clouds and showers for the longest tonight. Eventually we'll clear out. We'll have sunshine tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we should have clearing skies on your commute to work if the sun's not already out already. But that clearing is what's really going to chill places down in Illinois tonight. And they're going to have the clearing first, whereas we're going to clear out 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, which isn't enough time for our heat, which is in the surface, to go out to space. So I don't think we see freezing conditions tonight. We'll be darn close, but I don't think we see them because of the lingering clouds and showers here locally. Okay. So I want to get that off the board. It will freeze tomorrow night though. So, we're not getting out of that. If you have any plants or anything that need to be brought in, there's that. You can see the cold air spinning out of Canada. Out towards the west, big ridge brings a big old storm system up into the Gulf of Alaska. And then this feature right here, this is what I want to show you right here where my mouse is. This little tiny feature is the one that we talked about last week on Region Weather Live on Sunday when we went long term. This is that little potent low pressure system that's diving south. It's going to bring a nice little swirl in here with a reinforcing shot of cold air. There's going to be some moisture with it, not a lot because it's of Pacific origin, but there's going to be some moisture with it. And this is what's going to kick off our snow chances and perhaps some snow squalls. Sounds scary, sounds like a big deal, right? This isn't going to be a big deal. Okay, I'm just going to say it right now. We're going to have some flakes around here, and that's the big deal itself in terms of headlines. But this isn't going to be a crippling snow or anything like that. Not that you're expecting that, but looking at some of the headlines on social media, that's the vibe I'm getting, is that this is going to be a crippling snowfall that you have to click here and look at all the maps. And that's not the case. Okay, so let's take you through it. Here's our rain here tonight. It's interesting. There's a radar feature right now. If you pull up your radar app, whatever that is, you can see there's two different things going on. We've got the general rain moving from southwest to northeast, which is along it has the jet stream in there. It's along the frontal boundary, essentially. But we also have a lake effect band of rain right now moving into Lake and Porter County that's moving off the lake, coming out of the northeast. So it's interesting. There's rain moving kind of two different directions. And the models are picking up on that nicely. See right here, this little feature. Here's the lake effect band right here, and then here's the general moisture. And watch how when I move this, see how that lake effect band kind of stays in place? And then eventually it shifts east as the wind shifts. So kind of interesting there. This is 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We're starting to clear things out. We'll have clearing skies pretty quickly overnight tonight. And again, tomorrow morning is going to be much chillier. So as you're out the door tomorrow morning, mid-30s, we're going to have a breeze as well. It's going to be pretty gusty tomorrow. So it's going to feel more like the mid-20s tomorrow morning. I mean, that's air we haven't felt in a while, okay? And you'll notice it tomorrow morning. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. No problems on our Monday whatsoever, outside of the fact it's going to be breezy and it's going to be on the colder side. Temperatures are likely going to stay in the 30s tomorrow. Upper 30s probably. The sunshine really doesn't help us much this time of year. Whereas in June, if we had a cloudy day versus a sunny day, you'd notice a huge difference in temperatures. This time of year, it really doesn't matter a whole lot if you get sun or not, because that sun angle is just so low, especially as we enter the month of November coming up. I mean, we really are dealing with kind of the lowest sun angle month and a half of the year. So there's that. So despite the sunshine, it's going to be chilly tomorrow and kind of blustery. This is tomorrow afternoon. This is tomorrow night. And you notice what's arriving out towards the northwest. This is that potent low that's way up in Canada right now, okay? So we're getting a good idea of high-res model solutions, right? So, and this is one of them. This is the NAMNES. I usually don't like the NAMNES best, but I like it best right now. I like how it evolves this better than the HER. It looks more like how this would evolve based on kind of experience watching these things. But as this heads down, this is Monday night. This is now Monday early or Tuesday early morning. This is like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. We've got a potent low pressure that's coming over Lake Michigan. Winds will very briefly turn southwest Tuesday morning. And then as this thing comes screaming through, what's happened in the past with these is you'll typically get an initial band of snow, kind of like a mini cold front. In that initial band, I mean, it's going to be snowing and we're going to see snow. And this is going to happen sometime, looks like late morning into midday Tuesday. We'll see our first flakes flying around the region, right? After that, there's a big question if, do we go quiet for a little bit like the NAMNES is showing? And I think we will. I think we'll have a couple hours of break on Tuesday. Temperatures will be dropping after that initial little hit of snow. The initial hit doesn't look like anything crazy in terms of accumulation, but we could get a good burst out of it. And then once that goes by, we watch this low kind of circulate over us. Depending on the path, this would be best case scenario for heavy snow right here, okay? The HER has a little bit off the lake, so that brings us kind of less bursts of snow chances. But either way, as this low spirals its way right through the region, it's going to drag some Lake Michigan air and moisture with it. And will likely, by afternoon into trick-or-treat time, we're likely going to have some bursts of snow around here. It could be mixed. It could be kind of convective in nature in that it would be mixed with some grapple or some of those, the dipping dots, so to speak, that fall. And we could have quick coatings around the region. Temperatures will be cool enough. Ground's still going to be warm, but if we get heavy enough snow for a brief amount of time, we could get a quick coating, especially on grassy and elevated surfaces. You know the drill. But this all looks to kind of transpire sometime Tuesday afternoon into the evening. It doesn't look to be a consistent snow. It looks to be kind of bursty, and then it'll back off, and then maybe another burst again. And so that's interesting, right? And then outside of that, I do see a brief window of lake effect Tuesday night, like Tuesday late evening into Tuesday night. Winds will align for about a 4 to 6 hour stretch, which some of that time is used to gather moisture, okay? It doesn't just happen right away once the winds align. You have to start to allow that fetch to gather moisture and dump it inland. But I could see some decent lake effect snow, albeit briefly, Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. But by Wednesday morning commute, it all should be east of here and out, all right? Because this next high pressure builds in pretty quickly, all right? And you can see how that evolves. Here comes a low, some kind of initial burst of snow there. Low comes across the lake. We get more bursts of snow as we get into trick-or-treat time, and then we deal with a little bit of lake effect on the backside of that, okay? So that's the NAMNES. I do want to show you all options. This is the HER. This is the latest run now. And you see it's a little bit different, but it's still kind of similar in terms of the outcome. There's your initial burst of snow, says the HER. This is right at noon, and then it doesn't go any further than that. But I would imagine it's got a pretty similar solution in that. So moral of the story, Tuesday for Halloween, as scary as it sounds, we're going to have bursts of snow around here, all right? Reduced visibility, and then it goes away, and then reduced visibility goes away. And we could get a nice little window where we don't have much going on, and you're like, where's the snow? And then it comes back in at night or in the evening as that low kind of pivots through, okay? How much are we talking? Not a lot, guys. It's nothing to get excited about. Again, a coating, I think, would do it. If we get prolonged lake effect, could we see up to an inch? If it's organized enough, we could. This is a NAM nest. You see, most of us just see a trace to maybe a ½ inch, but it does have, the NAM nest does, and it's been pretty consistent with this, a little area of perhaps, I mean, look at this. It's saying up to 4 inches in Porter County. So we do have to respect that. That, again, is hinging on the fact that we get a heavier lake effect band that establishes itself for just 2-3 hours over Porter County. So we'll see. Nothing to get too crazy excited about, but it is the first snow of the season. And it is certainly going to be cold, and you're going to notice that tomorrow morning. Okay, so that's it on the snow. Where do we go after that? Let's talk about that. So here's your cold air. This is the Euro run. Here's that snow as it moves through. It goes away real fast, all right, Wednesday morning. So here's Wednesday. It's out towards LaPorte County, just kind of shrinking in coverage as this high pressure moves in, all right? So lingering lake effect or mainly early Wednesday, and then it's out of here. By Thursday, we start to warm up. High pressure goes east. We totally flip the script and we have a southwest wind. Problem is this cold air is going all the way down basically the Gulf Coast. So when you have a southwest wind and you've got cold air all the way down into Texas and Louisiana, there's not a lot of warm air to bring up with that southwest wind. So that's why we don't warm up despite the fact we'll have a southwest wind. We don't warm up quickly behind that. So here's your Thursday. We're still chilly. By Friday, we're starting to moderate things. We're dry to end the week. And then by next weekend, we're watching some other kind of system. Models don't agree in how that evolves, but some kind of frontal boundary move through here. So I would put some scattered shower chances into the forecast next weekend. It's all rain. And then after that, models kind of agree that there's some kind of bigger system as we go into November 5th and 6th time frame. And we'll see where it goes with that. The Euro doesn't have a lot of snow for us locally, but you know that chance is always there. Last thing I want to talk about is temperatures. So let's talk about that, and then I'll answer your questions. So if you guys have questions, you can go ahead and put those in chat now, so I get them when I'm done with this here. Okay. Here's tonight's kind of lows. You get kind of how it goes, and they're a little bit colder than this, but I just want to show you the trend. See how the cold air is not quite here tonight because we don't clear out quick enough. So we're still going to be warmer than those freeze warnings you're seeing out towards our west, but still cold start tomorrow morning. These are your high temperatures tomorrow. So right near 40, I would imagine we'll stick in the upper 30s for much of the day. I think the Euro is a little impressed with that. We're in the 30s on Tuesday. All right. It has to snow. And so upper 30s, it's going to be cold. Wednesday, we don't moderate much. We're right near 40 degrees. So probably low 40s, just cold. And then we start to warm up a little bit on Thursday. So Thursday, we're into the 50s, as you can see there. And you can see the warm air finally starting to develop on that southwest wind. So into the 50s on Friday. And then the weekend, remember, we're bringing that next system in. So we warm up kind of out ahead of it. We're near 60. I'd probably go upper 50s near 60 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we're a little bit on the cooler side by maybe a degree or two because that front kind of goes by. But we've got mild air around as we get into the extended forecast, and that's good news. And then here's that bigger system, November 6th, 7th we talked about, which would bring cooler air back in, but no big snows in the forecast with that. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with, at least on a weather front here as we go throughout the next week or so. In terms of snow chances, my focus is going to be, if we're going to call ourselves the, winter weather headquarters, whatever slogan I have up in that thing, I want to look out for the next snow for you guys. And I'm excited to look at storm systems too, right? So my trend as we go over these region weather lives, as we get deeper and deeper into fall and winter here, is I'm going to keep you up to date over the next 10 to 15 days, if that's okay, with any snow chances that we have. And what are the odds that we get a big storm system? Is it something small that we're looking for, whatever it is? So this is our first here, and then we're going to take a little break. I don't see much through the beginning of November, okay? So that's kind of what we're doing with that. All right, let's answer your questions, and then we'll get you on your way here on this Sunday evening. As always, appreciate you guys joining us for sure. Let's see. Julie says, how much snow in Northwest Indiana on Tuesday morning, or we'll hold off till afternoon? Congratulations, absolutely. Yeah, and it is an unusual name, Silas. I guess the last year was the most popular for it ever, though, at least on those baby trends. We saw that. Silas means, gosh, what does it mean? I forgot. We have this thing up there, of the woods or of the forest or something like that. It's a biblical name too. We're believers here in our house, but it's a cool name. I don't know. And he looks like a Silas. We look like him, or we look at him. We're just like, you are definitely a Silas. He's a cute little kid. So far, wait till he's 3. But anyway, your question was how much snow in Northwest Indiana on Tuesday morning. Julie, there's not going to be much Tuesday morning. This whole thing is going to be moving in. Probably as of right now, it looks like late morning. These things can really speed up, so we may have some flakes around here in the morning, but my gut says late morning into midday is when we get that initial hit of some snow. All this is going to be manageable. We could get some bursts of snow that put down a quick coating, though, and those are the ones that we need to watch, but it doesn't look like anything extremely consistent. Let me see. Carl says, do you know when the earliest snowfall recorded has been in the area? Carl, I'd have to do some digging on that. It's not hard to find. But I would imagine we've had snow in September, probably late September, early October before. So I don't think, this isn't going to be pushing records or anything like that. I remember, was that 2020 when we had the snow storm? It was mainly towards Chicago and northern Illinois, but we got some heavy snow for trick or treat for Halloween. I think it was back in 2020, and it was like national news. But I could look that up, and maybe we'll make that a Tuesday trivia this week. We'll see. Debbie, good call on that. She says, what a Halloween trick or treat. That's good. Yeah. A lot of people, Susan's going with that route too. I hope we don't need to shovel the sidewalks like we did in 2019. Was that the year it was, Debbie? 2019 probably is what I'm thinking of. No, I don't think we're gonna have to shovel the sidewalks, but may need to put out a little salt. If you're gonna have the trick-or-treaters, if we get a coating of snow, last thing you want is trick-or-treaters slipping on your sidewalk. So we'll be playing it by ear. We'll have some updates for you as well. So don't sweat it. We'll be able to get through it. Maxwell brings up a good point, and I usually go with this every year. He says first snow's nice till January, then you want spring. That's most people. Again, this time of year, up until Christmas, in my mind, we call it festive. Okay, it's very festive when it comes down, and this early in the season, I don't know if you can call it festive or not. It is what it is. But after that, it just becomes increasingly more annoying as you get towards February. I think the worst snows are the ones you get in like April, like when you're ready for spring and you're ready to get into that ground, and then it just snows. So right now we're okay with that. Sammy, good question. So Sammy asked, what's the chance of rain next Saturday night? So Sammy, we'll have some kind of storm system over us. As of right now, most of the modeling has it passing dry. There's not much of a Gulf of Mexico connection with it, so there's not a lot of moisture with it. But I would put some scattered rain in the forecast next Saturday. It doesn't look like a big threat as of right now, but I would just keep it in the back of your mind that I think we're gonna have some kind of rain around here Saturday into Sunday next week. But we'll see how that evolves. Right now, it's not real clear in the modeling. There's no consensus with it. But I could see that system kind of getting a little bit more moisture with it. Doesn't look like anything what we're dealing with now. I'll tell you that. All right, with this persistent flow. Donna, that's out there. So a lot of things you're seeing on the lower precip, in the mild winter and all that stuff. That's all based mainly on El Nino. Okay, we know we're going into a stronger El Nino this year. But I've said it time and time again, we can't base everything on El Nino. To me, El Nino and La Nina, because it's out in the Pacific, that deals more with where storm systems come into the Western U.S., all right? If we get a blocking high or we get some kind of system, whether it be a low pressure system or high pressure system that sets up on the eastern half of the country or in North America, it can change everything in terms of pattern. And I've seen us get locked into a certain pattern that's not El Nino-ish or La Nina-ish. I've seen us get locked into these patterns for 3-4 weeks on end. And if that happens, then this prediction's out the door, So my thoughts, and those of you that have been with me long enough know my thoughts. We can't accurately predict 10 days out. 7 days, we're getting pretty good at it. But 10 days, there's still some discrepancies in day 7, 8, 9, 10, right? How on earth are we to tell you what the winter's going to be like? How am I supposed to tell you what January, February, March are going to be like? I understand the meteorological community does, and we do it, but it's so vague. You look at the National Weather Service forecast, and it's like, we have a 30% chance of seeing below average precip and a 40% chance of seeing above average temperatures. What does that tell you? Are we not going to have cold days in the winter? It doesn't. It tells you if you average out everything for 3 months, it's going to come out to be above average. Okay, well, that doesn't tell me anything. It's like a fortune teller, with a very vague thing like, you will see success in the next 3 years. I don't like long-term trends. I never have, and if, again, I can't tell you what it's going to be like next Saturday exactly. How are we supposed to tell you what the winter is going to be like? Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. Yes, we have El Nino this year, and El Nino tends to provide, at least on average, lower precip. We don't see huge cold air intrusions with that. But you know what? We don't know until it happens. We really don't. And so that's why I'm gonna look out in my safe range, which is 10 to 15 days, which I think gives us enough of a heads up. It's not like those of you planning a birthday party for your kid in February are looking for these long-term trends saying, well, it's above average winter, the birthday looks good. That's not how it works. And so I'm going to keep it in the memorable range, which is 10 to 15 days for us. And there's a lot more accuracy in that. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Let's see. Light, fluffy. Oh, that's a good question. So Jessica and Ricky, whichever one's on, says light, fluffy snow or wet snow for trick or treat hours. It's going to be a wet snow. So there's going to be two types of snow with this. Snow is always based on the snow moisture content is always based on temperatures. Okay. And whenever temperatures are near or even above freezing, which they will be in this case, it's going to be cold up above us. So that's going to produce snow all the way to the ground, even though our temperature is in the mid and upper 30s. It doesn't have to be freezing here to have snow. It has to be real cold up above us, which it will be. But if it's close to freezing or above in the 30s, right, which is where we'll be, it's always going to be a wet snow, always. All right. You start to get the dry, fluffy stuff once your temperature here at the surface gets down in like the teens, even mid 20s. You can get some fluffy snow. And then if the temperature is like 0 during an Arctic outbreak, you'll notice you have really small ice crystals and it just blows around everywhere. And you can't get real heavy snow when it's 0 degrees out. You get the real heavy snows and the big storm systems when it's 20s to near freezing. So it'll be a wet snow. But we also could have some grapple mixed in, all right, just due to the convective nature. We may have some thunder out over Lake Michigan. It's certainly possible to have some thunder snow with this. But anyway, we could have some grapple as well. And that's not wet. That's like bouncy. I don't know what consistency it is. I don't think I've ever broken one apart. But anyway, it could be a mix. But it does look to be wet snow, if anything, okay? Derek asked a good question. Will I be back at 3 News soon? Oh, Derek, I appreciate you checking in. I'm going to be off for 5 weeks. Yeah, we have a real good paternity program. It's called Family Bonding, and they just upped it to 6 weeks for us. So it's going to be early December. I'll be back, but I'm still doing the forecasts here for friends and family and everyone back in my old region. I used to be the chief meteorologist back in Northwest Indiana, so that's why we have this page for sure. But I appreciate you checking in, Derek. Thanks, buddy. I do miss everyone at work. Yeah, Angel, I do too. Boy, costume-wise, just for any parents out there, I bet that swirl will look beautiful on satellite. Maxwell, I think so too. Amanda, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But Angel and any parents that are, getting the kids trick-or-treating and stuff like that, keep in mind costume-wise, where it's going to be, we're going to have a gusty wind. Obviously, they'll need layers, but just keep in mind anything that's loose, like my daughter one year had like paper. She did like cardboard and paper wings on there that she had to like hold on. And it was fine because it wasn't windy, but I just imagine that costume with gusty winds and the wing goes flying and the kids start crying. So just, make sure everything's secure on them. Make sure they're not, the inflatable costumes. I was an inflatable chicken this year, had the dinosaur running around, stuff like that. It was all of those are going to be interesting. So if your kid has an inflatable, it's going to be I don't want them to blow away. Okay. It's going to be pretty difficult for them, but it's going to be manageable, but it's, I'm just picturing, the inflatable costumes. It's just the train wreck it could be. Oh man, we'll see. Hi, Honor. Back for winter forecasts. Always enjoy. I appreciate that. I certainly appreciate your comment. So there's that. All right. I think that's all we've got, you guys. So just kind of a Reader's Digest version, if you just joined or whatever it happens to be. Derek's asking, remember the big storm in December of 2022? Derek, I'm so bad at remembering. There's meteorologists that remember storms and they can say, oh, yeah, 1960, blah, blah, blah. I am not one of those. And I have a couple coworkers that are the same. We can't remember what happened last week. So I do remember snow. I remember several December snows. 2020 had a good December storm too. But yeah, 2022, I don't remember what that storm was like. But yes, I would imagine we had some kind of storm in December of 2022. So sorry, Derek. I'm not good with history and weather. I do write down my forecast numbers, though, and make sure that they are accurate. And if I'm off by a couple degrees, I ask myself what was wrong. So there's that. Donna, like the flying monkeys on Oz, she says. That's awesome. All right. Anyway, we'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back on the radio bright and early tomorrow morning on the radio side of things. And again, if you are not subscribed to our email updates, I know everyone tries to get you subscribed for everything. I promise these are helpful. And it's a couple of you, not this last week, I didn't get any, but week before said how helpful they are. It's regionweather.com. When you go there, you can see off to the right, it'll say subscribe to emails. It's one a day. All right. And I'm doing it in the morning. I get up early and we do radio recordings here, and I'll type up and do a weather graphic, and it goes to your email, and it's short and sweet. And it's just for you in Northwest Indiana. I mean, it's not a computerized thing. There's actually a hand typed thing behind that. It's not, it's not your phone. It's not a generic weather forecast. It's specific for Northwest Indiana. And a lot of times I'll say good in whatever day it is morning. And doesn't that feel personal when you wake up and you get an email from me that says good Monday morning? Am I right? I'm just kidding. Well, I do that, but you don't need to subscribe to that. Linda says, see, thank you guys. Thank you. Susan says, do the email updates. They're great. Linda says, I love my emails every morning. And again, I hate spam. Okay. And I won't spam you. All right. Little article goes to your inbox. You read it. You say, oh, that's what the weather's doing today. Okay. That's it. Mary, thank you for the support. Susan, you too. Okay, guys, enjoy your night. We'll be with you all week. I'm going to probably do some more updates on Tuesday just to keep you updated on that. So just give a heads up for that. Okay. All right. Have a good